Today we'll be replacing water filters in a reverse osmosis water filtration system. The system has a shutoff, which is attached to the water line, which we'll have to turn off. And it has two filters, a carbon filter, two carbon filters actually, and this is the reverse osmosis filter, but we won't be replacing that. So the first thing to do is to turn off the water and release the pressure. Do that by simply turning this little valve until it's completely off. It's just a little pin type valve. There we go. It's off. And then we drain the line. So we'll let this go until there is no more water coming out. And then we'll do the next step. Okay, so the water stopped running. Now we can proceed to the next step. Go down under the sink here and remove the filters. Now these things are still full of water, so when we loosen them, you may get some water coming out, so you might want to have some rags or something to soak that up. Depending on who tightened these the last time, sometimes they can be very tight. One time when I tried to take these off and replace them, the whole unit fell off the wall. So this time I've decided to avoid that problem, and I put a metal strap with two screws into the wall to hold it, and hopefully that's going to keep it on there for me. Oops. I get my pipe to stay out of the way. So I cheated a little bit, and I already checked to make sure that I can get these things off without it falling off. I'm using a tool. It's a large vice grip, because the tool that came with it was a circular tool that just fits over this whole thing, and it makes it very easy to get off. It has gone missing, but this works quite well. But if you buy these units, they usually come with a tool. Just try to keep track of it. So you just counterclockwise, give it a little turn, and then unscrew it the rest of the way by hand. Might be a little heavy because it's full of water, and there it is, topped off with water. Okay, so drain the water out. There's the old filter. It's kind of brown. It's been used for a while, and it doesn't hurt to give this a clean. I usually just rinse it out. And you take your replacement filter, which you can purchase at any of your big box building material stores. This is a better one. It's a 4000 series DuPont Universal Fit carbon block, and it lists the brands that it fits: DuPont, Omni, Whirlpool, GE. Mine is a GE. So it is good to check those specifications. Make sure you're going to get a unit that works for your filter. Okay, both ends are the same. So it doesn't much matter which one goes in. Take the paper off. Pop that in there, and then we set it back on. Okay, so we take our filter box and thread it back on to the base. Goes on by hand most of the way, and there's a washer in there, a rubber washer, so it needs to be snug, otherwise that will leak. So that's it. We did the same thing to the other side, and we're done. Okay, I replaced the other side. This is a 2 filter unit. They're both carbon filters. You may have a particulate filter in yours. Sometimes they come with 3 boxes. This one is a 5-stage. It's got the 2, I guess it's a 3-stage, I should say. It has the 2 filters and then the reverse osmosis filter. Some of them have 3 down here, and they may sometimes have a different configuration, but these box units, they're all changed the same way. So now we can turn the water back on. And you should check for leaks, of course. Now it's going to take a while for this to fill up. I can hear the water starting to run. So I'm not sure how far you really need to undo this, but until it stops. There we go. That's a good spot. And what has to happen now is that this tank here has to top off. So we're going to wait for that to fill up, and once that's filled up, then the water will start coming out through the spigot again. And I'm not quite sure how long that's going to take, but it shouldn't take very long. And then once it has topped off and the water is coming out of the filter, we'll turn it off, and it'll probably fill up with some air, so periodically check it, turn it back on. You'll hear some air come out, and we'll continue to do that until we're not getting any air out through the spigot anymore. So the tank is still filling. You can still see there's some air coming out of it. It takes about half an hour, 45 minutes for the tank to refill. And then once it has refilled, once you're no longer getting any air coming out of here and you're getting your regular stream, then you want to, then it should be full. The tank should be full, and at that point you want to flush the filter. Since the filter is new, there can be some carbon residue in it, powder, and you want to remove that by flushing the filter. So the way to do that is to drain the tank, turn the spigot on, let it go completely empty, turn it off, let it refill, and do that 3 or 4 times. Sometimes I do it more than that just to be sure. I just took some water out of the tap and I put it up to the light, and I can't see any residue in this water, but that's the recommendation that came with the reverse osmosis unit when I first purchased it, so I usually follow that recommendation. It does take a bit of time to do that. We won't be ready to use this until sometime tomorrow, probably, because you walk away from it and just forget about it and let it fill and then come back and drain it, and it can take a while to do that, but it's probably not a bad idea. So that's all there is to it. Enjoy.